For decades, a single number has shaped one of humanity's most extraordinary migration stories: 65,000 years. That date has often been cited as the earliest evidence of human presence in Australia, an astonishing claim that, if true, would make Aboriginal Australians one of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth and place the settlement of Australia tens of thousands of years earlier than places like the Americas. But now, that timeline is being challenged, not by stone tools, not by cave art, but by ancient DNA. Long before there was an Australia, New Guinea, or Tasmania, there was Sahul, a vast Ice Age supercontinent. During glacial periods, sea levels were so low that these landmasses merged into a single territory nearly the size of modern Europe. Reaching Sahul required what may have been the most dangerous journey in early human history: crossing open ocean. For decades, researchers have believed that modern humans left mainland Southeast Asia and island-hopped through what is now Indonesia, eventually reaching Sahul's northern shores, possibly via Timor or Seram. What has remained fiercely debated is when that crossing occurred. In 2017, that debate exploded. At Madjedbebe, a rock shelter in Northern Territory, Australia, archaeologists made a sensational claim. Using advanced dating techniques on stone tools, ochre, and other human-made artifacts, they argued that people were present at the site 65,000 years ago. Their conclusions were based on optically stimulated luminescence, or OSL, a method that dates the last time sand grains were exposed to sunlight. When sand is buried, it traps energy from natural radiation in the soil. OSL releases that energy as light, allowing scientists to estimate how long the sediment, and anything buried with it, has been underground. If correct, this would place Australia among the earliest known regions of sustained human settlement anywhere in the world. It would mean humans reached Sahul astonishingly early, with advanced planning, seafaring ability, and complex cognition.
But now, a new line of evidence is telling a different story. In the 2010s, scientists achieved a breakthrough once thought impossible: sequencing the genome of a Neanderthal. The results revealed something remarkable. Every human population outside Africa carries traces of Neanderthal DNA, roughly 2%, inherited from ancient interbreeding events. Recent genetic studies show that this interbreeding likely occurred during a relatively narrow window between about 50,000 and 55,000 years ago, as modern humans moved through the Middle East into Eurasia. Rather than multiple interbreeding events across the world, the evidence points to a single major pulse of genetic mixing. Here's the key detail: Indigenous Australians also carry Neanderthal DNA. That means their ancestors must have passed through Eurasia after this interbreeding occurred. And if that's true, it suggests humans could not have reached Sahul before about 50,000 years ago, because they would not yet have acquired Neanderthal genes. This is the central argument of a new study published in mid-2025 by researchers from La Trobe University and the University of Utah in Archaeology and Oceania. According to the authors, Neanderthal DNA acts as a genetic timestamp, and that timestamp does not support a 65,000-year occupation at Madjedbebe. So does this mean the archaeology is wrong? Not necessarily. Madjedbebe remains one of the most important archaeological sites in Australia, but critics have long pointed out a complication. The site sits atop deep, shifting sand layers. Over time, artifacts can sink downward, making them appear older than they truly are. Although the original research team took steps to control for this, using multiple dating methods and careful stratigraphic analysis, even supporters acknowledged that Madjedbebe was an outlier, significantly older than nearly every other site on the continent. The new genetic study raises another possibility. Even if humans were present at Madjedbebe 65,000 years ago, those early people may not have contributed genetically to modern Aboriginal Australians. They could represent an earlier, unsuccessful migration, one that was later replaced or absorbed by populations arriving after Neanderthal admixture. But this is where the debate deepens.
Other researchers caution that genetic dating methods also have uncertainties. Molecular clocks rely on assumptions about mutation rates in population histories that are still being refined. In their view, DNA models alone cannot yet override strong archaeological evidence. Meanwhile, discoveries elsewhere complicate the picture even further. On the nearby island of Sulawesi, archaeologists have dated hand stencils and animal paintings to at least 51,200 years ago, making them among the oldest known examples of figurative art in the world. Some researchers believe the artists behind these paintings may have been part of the same migratory wave that eventually reached Sahol. And because rock art provides only minimum dates, it's possible these populations were present in the region long before the paintings were created. So where does this leave us? Most archaeological sites in Australia, including places like Lake Mungo, Death Adder Gorge, and Nawalabila, cluster between 45,000 and 50,000 years ago, aligning closely with the genetic evidence. Yet Madjedbebe and Sulawesi challenge that timeline, hinting at a deeper human past. One solution may reconcile both sides. There may have been multiple waves of migration into Sahul, some early, small, and ultimately unsuccessful, others later, larger, and genetically dominant. In this scenario, archaeology preserves traces of the earliest arrivals, while genetics reflects the populations that endured. What is clear is that the story of Australia's first people is far from settled. Future discoveries, new sites in Sulawesi, New Guinea, or Northern Australia may push dates earlier still. Improved genetic models may refine when Neanderthal admixture occurred, and new techniques may finally bridge the gap between stone and gene. For now, we stand at a moment of scientific tension between archaeology and genetics, between what is buried in the earth and what is carried in our blood. But one truth remains beyond dispute. Sahol was not a dead end. Its people flourished, adapted, and created some of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth, cultures that endure today through Aboriginal Australians. And whatever date science ultimately settles on, 50,000 years, 65,000, or even earlier, it will only deepen our understanding of how these early humans transformed an entire continent and how that land shaped them in return. Thanks for watching. If you found this fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow history lovers. And let us know in the comments, which theory do you find more convincing? The genetic evidence pointing to a later arrival, or the archaeological discoveries suggesting a much earlier one? As always, stay curious, because the past still has many secrets left to reveal.